New We Are Humans, a multimedia sci-fi series. Today's topic: neglected males in a gynocentric world. Since the invention of human birth systems thousands of years ago, the social structure of Acelinians was dramatically changed. Marriage became unnecessary. Babies made from sexual intercourse of their parents would go to a foster community appointed by the state. In Homo sapiens, most states only registered citizenship for the babies born from human birth systems, an official way to give birth to a human. A few states, such as Niconax, however, permitted biologically born babies to be their citizens. In a main city, that is a levitation metropolis, the local residents must be citizens or nobles. For a state that did not accept biologically born Acelinians, they would have to live in a sheltered city, located under the main city, with no citizenship. These sheltered cities were usually a backward region as the state government paid less attention to their community. Unpleasant facilities like prisons and plants were usually next to these cities. There were settlements, scattering around the Acelinian world, where other beings, Acelinians with no citizenship, and even forgotten groups resided in. Among these settlements, there were a few male leading forgotten groups. The leaders of those groups, by the name of Amis, meaning a principal citizen, were usually exiles with a brilliant character. An Amis often lived with a vast group of females including criminal descendants, ex-citizens, abandoned nobles, or even forgotten beings living in the Acelinians world. They were usually seen as xenophobes. Male Acelinians born from a human birth system were generally nobles, living in those male-friendly states such as Niconax. However, the male babies born biologically were always abandoned to the poor region of a sheltered city. The gynocentric Acelinian community paid the least attention to their misfortunes over years. Menanax, the only male state in Homo sapiens, sought to rescue those male Acelinians living in a difficult situation by sending rescue teams around the Acelinian world. Most of the time those states, which were gynocentric, refused them to enter their territory. Being the tiniest state in Homo sapiens, Menanax had only 30,000 residents, all males. Most of them were rescued from around the world. Once a male became a Menanax citizen, he would usually be another rescuer to save the other males around their world. This male state was an old levitation city above the sea, as it was originally a detention city holding all males during the then politicians establishing their gynocentric regime 4,000 years ago. The city was moved out of any territory that was occupied by gynocentric states. The head of a state, in the Acelinian world, must participate in the World Assembly of Homo sapiens according to the Constitution. However, the gynocentric politicians thwarted the head of Menanax in the active discussion. The head of Menanax was the first person to congratulate Taon on his achievement of creating the first perfect Acelinian, Xena Acelines, who was not gynocentric due to her earthling father's genes. And every tragic story of Menanax man touched Xena's heart when she was 15. This led to her determination to save men from their unfair gynocentric world. Having remarkable wisdom, Xena was eventually promoted to the Supreme Minister of the Ministry of Transnational Affairs, the President's number 2. She immediately reformed the World Assembly, regulating a new code of conduct, which gave Menanax people at least a limited participation in the gynocentric politics of Homo sapiens. Her act angered the majority of Acelinian politicians, radical gynocentrists. This gave Falconians a chance to collude with the same ideology opposition to execute their invasions into Homo sapiens.